So we'll get started, and then if there's any questions, we'll pick those up at the end for you. And let me virtually introduce Amy to you. Amy's going to be showing us what to do today. So, hi Amy.
Hello everybody. Thank you for having me, Donna.
It's fabulous. We are very excited about this piece. I know there was lots of people interested in this, so I suspect lots of people will join in. So if it's all right, I'll do it. We're not putting any pressure on ourselves, but if it's okay, we'll pop it on onto YouTube after. But no pressure to do that. So what I'll do is I'll introduce it formally, because then we crop out the chat that we do, and then just do the little formal bit, and then we'll come back and chat to everybody.
Okay,
So that's all right. So.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody, I'm Donna from Riverside Beads, and today we've got a guest tutor, Amy, that will be doing our Facebook Live today, and this is a beautiful crystal bracelet that Amy's going to show you. So I will hand you over to Amy and she will explain how this project works.
Good afternoon everybody. So I have brought some examples of different colours that I have done. It is quite an easy pattern, but you do have to keep the tension there. It uses 4mm bicones, size 11 and size 15 seed beads. I think this was one that I popped on the Facebook group, my little Jubilee necklace. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if I flip this over, I might have picked the wrong, you'll see that it has two layers to it basically. So underneath you have quite a rectangle shape with the size 11 seed beads, and then on top of those rectangle seed beads you have the 4mm bicones and the size 15 seed beads. Right, so I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah, let's get started. Shall I move some of these samples so you've got a bit more room to work on? We'll pop them at the top there. So the colours, you can see, I mean, Amy's come with loads of lovely colours today, so we have some fabulous selections, but we're just going to show you one that we hope will look good for the camera and you'll be able to see what you need to.
So I normally just use Eslon from Donna's lovely shop. And we start off, basically, I've just pulled off some thread. Depending on the size of your wrist, or whether you're making earrings, necklace, bracelet, it depends on the size. You may have to add more thread as you go along. But firstly, we start off with 10 size 11 seed beads. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we've got our 10 on there. Pull them down the cord, and then basically we want to double through just to keep the tension there. Pull it through. And then you've effectively created a sort of a circle. Now I normally tie it off, because if you don't keep the tension on this bracelet, it doesn't look right. So I normally just pop a knot in it, and then you're ready to start. Okay, so how this works is you want to end up with one bead at the bottom, one bead at the top, and 4 either side. So you've effectively got a rectangle, because you're working on these, predominantly these top and bottom seed bead. So we're going to go through one seed bead, so we're away from the knot, and then you're going to prep your top seed bead. So you're going to be going through that one there. So you've got your 4 to the right and 4 to the left. So then you pick up one of your 4mm bicones, and then 3 of your size 15 seed beads. 2, oh, pinged away. Okay, so we've got those on together. So that top bead that you prepped, you're going to pass it through. Can't see.
It's difficult not to keep your head in the camera, isn't it?
You'll have to shout at me if I do. Okay, so we're going to pull it through. And the trick here is to get them to sit on top. So you've got it like that.
Just need to go a little closer to the camera, just maybe a bit that way. That's it. Let's see if we can capture that. Sometimes it just won't capture it and focus it, which is a real shame.
I don't think it's having it, is it?
No.
We'll carry on.
We'll carry on it. There you go. It's got it lower down better actually, so you probably see it better down there.
Yeah, super. Right, so once we've gone through that top seed bead, we're going to pick up another 3 of the 15s and then pass it through this end of the bicone. So as you pull it through, you make a V shaped. And then to finish that one off, you then go through the bottom bead. There. Okay, so you should end up with that. So you've got the 2 underneath, and then the bicone and the V-shaped with your size 15s on the top. So that is effectively the pattern, you just repeat that. So what we need to do next is follow up through the side 4 size 11 seed beads. And now we need to recreate the base for the next pattern. So we need to create those 10 rectangle, 10 seed beads for the rectangle. So we need to pick up another 6 of the size 11. So we've got our 6 there. And then to make that rectangle, we need to go back up through our side seed beads. So that should make that rectangle that we started off with on the first one. And then same as we did on the first one, we go through that top seed bead, well, the bead that we're going to use as our top seed bead. Then we've got the bottom one here prepped ready. So we've got the 4 down the right hand side, the 4 down the left hand side, and that bottom one is ready. So we're picking up a 4mm bicone.
And by prepping, what you do is you just sort of pull it out with a needle a bit, don't you?
I do, yeah. It's just because if you wanted to use, I mean, if you're starting off and you think it's a little bit complicated, you could use a different colour for your top and bottom seed bead, so you knew which one it was.
Which one it was, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just it's preparing it, sort of pulling it out, so you've got that space and it's in the right place to pass the needle back through.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, I find it easier just to pull that bottom bead out so I know which one I'm going to. Because if you get it through the wrong one, it is going to mess up the pattern. It's not going to look right. So we're popping on 3 size 15 seed beads, and we're going to go through that bottom bead that we prepared. I can find it without stabbing myself. Pulling it through gently.
Always tangles when you're live. That's it, you say.
There we go. Right, and again, it's getting that to sit on top. It's a little bit fiddly. You can use your fingers just to pinch it in a bit, and then that creates the tension again. So you've gone through that bottom bead. So we're now picking up 3 more size 15 seed beads. We're going to go back up through the bottom of the bicone, which will then help us to create, get my fingers out of the way so you can see, that V. Oh, getting all knotted.
There's a new art to trying to do it and keep your fingers out of the way, isn't there? You can't hold it how you would normally, so you perhaps might hold the whole thing with your hands, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So then customers could, you know, you could...
It's quite a forgiving pattern though, so if you do get your thread slightly knotted, I can see I've got on caught here. There we go, free up.
We've got a tangle. We're off screen, but we've got a little bit of a tangle on the... I'll have to re-thread that needle, I think, because it's got a little knot in it right at the end. We'll just re-thread the needle.
I'll hold the tension.
I'll keep the tension there, we'll be good. I'll have to cut it off, I think.
This didn't happen in practice,
No,
Donna.
I know, it never does. Never does. Then re-threading the needle when you're trying to do it when you're live is also a challenge.
Under pressure.
Yeah. We're just getting there. We're just re-threading the needle. Or not. I'm not doing a good job at re-threading it.
But with this pattern, you can do it into necklaces, or I made some earrings. It's just however long you want to keep doing the pattern for. So they would make nice Jubilee dangly earrings.
That'd be perfect. The colours that you've used are amazing on all the combinations. They just make it all look so different. I don't know who's going to be better threading this needle, because I'm not doing a good job with it. Right, we got it. Right, we're back threaded again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nice, all good.
Right, okay, so we went back through the bottom of the bicone and we've come out the top, so we need to go back through our top seed bead, and then that secures that pattern there. So there's 2, so you can see on the underneath so to do another one, it's going through the side 4, and then we need to make 10 in total, so we're going to add another 6 size 11 seed beads. And then we're going to go back through the top and then down to the bottom to create that rectangle that we're going to prepare. So we've got that one there. So we've got our top one that I'm going to pull out using the needle. Get the bottom one ready. And then we've got our 4 down the right hand side as well. So going through that bottom. Keeping that tension, picking up a bicone, 3 of the size 15s, oh, missed it, and then we're going back through the top from right to left. pulling that through, and then again it's getting those 4 beads to sit on the top, and you might have to find yourself jiggling things around just to get them to sit on top there.
Oh, it's great. You can see that coming along really nicely now.
I think the most awkward thing is just to get those beads sat on top. So we're going to add another 3 size 15s through the bottom of the seed bead, pulling the thread through, and then you can see that V has been created with those size 15s, and then you've got that top bead there, and then you're securing that one off with your bottom seed bead, and then that's 3 done. And then you'll see on the underside you've got those rows of your size 11s.
And you were saying to me, you only actually, if you don't turn it over, you only see the size 11 really at the side, don't you?
That's it, yeah.
So the colour, it's sort of coordinated. We've coordinated this, but it doesn't, you know, you're not seeing too much of it.
No, so the only size 11s that you do actually see are that top one there, which sits between the V, and the one just the other side of the bicone. All the others are hidden underneath. So just doing another row, back up through your side 4, just got those on there, pulling the thread through, picking up 6 because you need to create the 10, so you have 4 either side and 2 top and bottom. 5, 6, yeah. Back up through, got my tail stuck, there we go, there, passing the needle through your top bead, or what I call as the top bead. And then you can see it's already started to really bring the bottom bead down. You've got the 4 at the side, pick up your bicone, 3 size 15s, it's springy, through the bottom bead, pulling it up so then it sits on top. Oh, that one worked magic there.
It did, it went perfectly. Don't you love it when that happens?
There, so that sits on top, keeping the tension on that so you don't lose, so it doesn't go all loose. Picking up another 3, back through, back through the bottom of the bicone, pulling it through, and then you'll see that V form.
The V's go on alternate sides, don't they?
They do,
That's
yeah.
how it works. So they go one side and then they go on the opposite side of the bicone, which
Yeah.
adds to the pattern really, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And the appearance of it.
Yeah. So there we go.
And also once you get a few done, I think it gives you something more to hold on to. It's always the same with bead weaving.
It is, yeah. It's the first 3 or 4 are probably the worst, but after that, it's they do knit together a lot nicer.
Lovely. And how are you adding your clasp on when you got to the other end? You can just sort of show one of these ones, perhaps, just for the idea.
Basically, all I've done is I've not added anything else other than I've popped a jump ring through that already, or that loop that you've already got there. So you can see on the bottom of this one. I personally don't like having having to add additional beads to create like something to fix your clasps onto. I'd rather have more of the design of the bracelet.
And
So
just a simple ending.
it
The nice
literally
thing with
is.
that as well is it's not linked to your bracelet, because if you catch the clasp and it breaks off, the whole bracelet can unravel. Whereas this way, you've just got your clasp separately,
Yeah,
which keeps your bracelet intact.
absolutely. With the earrings, I did add in a tiny little loop just to pop.
Yes, yeah, just a few seed beads.
Yep,
through
just
the last bead.
All I used was where the 4 size 11s are on the right hand side. I've literally just gone to the second and third one and added in 2 size 15s just to create the tiniest little loop just to hang the ear wire from.
There's a couple of ways to finish it, really, isn't there? You can either do the jump ring or do it with the seed beads.
Absolutely, but you could also, I mean, if you wanted to add another loop to this, you just from where you come out to your bottom bead there, you could just add in another 4 or 5 seed beads to create an additional loop that would just go over there. If you wanted to have that feature of an additional loop to pop your jump ring on.
Perfect.
But it's however you like to finish off your jewellery, really. If you have gone through making the bracelet, earrings, necklace, whatever you choose to do, and you find your tension is a little loose in places, it's super easy just to double back on yourself, because it knits together really easily. So it's just literally going back through everything and then going back through the top, back down the middle, so you're going through the left hand side.
And do you ever wax your thread with it being Nymo? Do you
I've never
it at all?
waxed a thread.
No, and I don't tend to, but there are times when I do wax it and you just think, oh, actually, yes, I must remember to wax my thread. You know, it can be easier for some projects, but no, this is working beautifully.
Yeah.
You can change up your thread as well. We stock KO and we stock
Fireline as well.
Wildfire or Fireline, yeah. So some people just prefer the different threads, but I guess thread of choice would work for this. You've just got to remember you're working with the 15s, which are the smallest of the beads you're working with, so just make sure everything fits through, and if you need to come through it all twice,
that's it. I mean, if you do find it's loose, it works really well just to go back over what you've done, and it knits everything together really nicely.
That's beautiful. And then this one, I think that was the one I showed right at the beginning. This one's been done just with a different 4mm, just with the fire polished or something, so it can switch up for your 4mm pearls or your other crystals, but the bicones come in such a wide range, they make the most beautiful projects. Thank you, Amy, that's lovely. Is there anything else you think we need to show on that?
No,
I don't. Is it? Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and thanks for doing your first live with us. We really appreciate it. And Riverside Beads will be back again with our weekly tutorials next week. So thanks for joining us. And I'll just snip back to Facebook to say, well done, Amy, you can breathe. We are still live at the moment, just on Facebook. And didn't Amy do amazing? That showed it perfectly. So, right, let's just see if there was anything we needed to note. Right, so this is now live, but it's a bit more casual. Let me crop this out and put it on YouTube. So, I think it was lots of hellos, which I missed. You were joining in. So, hello, everybody who joined us. Thank you very much. And then there was a couple of questions. Written instructions, no, Chris, we hadn't, and we haven't done a sort of bundle kit or anything on this one either. Maybe something for the future. So could you zoom into the beading, please? Missed the beginning. So, oh, and Sean sent you 50 stars. So I can transfer that into some beads for you in the shop. Thank you, Sean. I'll show you just briefly again. Just let me get the right thing. So the bottom bit was the size 11s, was it? Yeah. And then the top's a combination of 15s. They are the same colour on this one, but 15s and then a 4mm. So if I just go to that one. Again, you've got your 15s. Again, they're in a similar colour. You can see they're slightly silver lined on that one. And then your...
that was actually one of the first ones
I
did.
That's nice. You got different... Yeah, you've done what you said about swapping the colour on that one, haven't you?
Yeah. So because I was just learning this pattern, I used the 5th and 10th size 11 as a different colour, so that I knew what my top and bottom bead was going to be. And then obviously once I got used to it, I was able to keep them all the same colour. But I think that's actually been quite effective.
I think that looks really nice as well. There's no reason, you know, it doesn't, like you said, you don't see it massively. So that's the detail of that V that Amy was showing. We couldn't quite get it to capture close up, but hopefully you saw enough of what you need. And who knows, it might be able to be a pattern one day. That's how it alternates from the V, goes from one side over to the other and then flicks between the two sides, which adds to the pattern. So that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks ever so much, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.